Channel 85.
Maybe in a little bit more.
Kate,
I have allergies.
you poor thing. And
It's
you don't do
pollen.
anything to take care of your allergies?
No.
Prevent your allergies and all of this distress you're going through?
No, it gives me an excuse to skip class because I'm sick.
You knew we would be in a field all day
I thought,
and having our great picnic?
I just thought of the romantic part of it. I didn't actually think of the logistics.
Oh, you poor dear. So, do you know why you have allergies to all this pollen?
No, I don't.
Oh, that's a shame. So, pollen is used by plants as it's the microgametophyte used by flowering plants to send gametes to other flowers and other plants to make new seeds.
Gametes?
Gametes.
Gametes.
And actually, not just flowering plants, pine trees also make pollen. And they don't have
Pine
flowers.
trees too?
Yes, pine trees too.
Where can I live then? Without having this whole thing going on.
Cold climates, even though they do have pine trees in cold climates seem to be better for pollen. But of course, people who are allergic tend to also be allergic to mold, and you're not really going to get away from mold. And cat hair and cat dander. Now, the reason you're allergic to pollen is that pollen is used as the microgametophyte from one plant to the other plant. The macrogametophyte, the plant needs to make sure, hey, I've got the right species of pollen, because when there's just all this pollen blowing in the air, you don't know, one plant doesn't know if it's getting pollen from the same species or another species.
I lost you at
Microgametophyte, macrogametophyte.
Thank you.
So
So yeah, I know what you meant about the pollen. Like they're not going to crossbreed just because a different pollen is in
right,
it, right?
so like a pine tree is wind pollinated, and as is an oak tree. If a pine tree gets oak tree pollen, it's not going to be very useful. So there are very elaborate proteins on the coat, on the outside of the pollen grains,
Yeah.
to help the plants identify, to make sure they have the right pollen that they're going to use to make their seeds.
Kind of like their own little genes or something like that.
It's kind of like a lock and a key.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one.
So for some people, for people with allergies, they have an immune system that is recognizing these elaborate proteins, either on the coats of pollen or in animal dander or in mold spores.
Okay, they're recognizing.
Their immune systems are recognizing it
And trying to attack it?
and trying to attack it and they see that it's in the body and they're like, get it out.
But the rest of like you people are just like, it's a flower. It's Valentine's Day. Whatever. You know, they're not vicious.
That's exactly. And actually, there's not much use to our bodies getting pollen out because the pollen isn't going to grow on us. It's not going to cause us any harm.
Well, that's good.
We have mast cells in our bodies, and mast cells carry histamine in them. And for those people who are allergic, their immune system is like, hey, there's something here. So it gets,
Hey, there's something here.
and it gives a message to the mast cells. The mast cells release the histamine. The histamine gives the allergy response. Swelling,
So all this
mucus buildup.
all this sneezing is basically my body overreacting.
Yes, it's your body overreacting.
And I thought I was the drama queen.
Exactly. So there are different ways of treating allergies and to prevent them.
Tell me, please.
Well, the first thing is antihistamines.
Yes,
And-
because of the histamine, which is the thing that attacks the things.
So the antihistamine goes in and it actually joins on, or it makes the histamine useless. It also makes people very tired, some people. So it's not as useful because you don't really want to have to do something where you have to function at
So you don't want to be a pilot and use
antihistamines while you're flying. There are other options,
Yeah.
though. There are usually prescription medications, mononucleases, I believe is what they're called.
I've never seen that in a store.
And they work with the cells that will actually tell the mast cells, or with the mast cells releasing, they prevent the release of the histamine in the first place.
So it's kind of like a birth control for your histamines.
That's a good way of it
They're
prevents it.
controlling the release. Anyway.
Then there is also a technique that's used to make people's immune systems learn to just deal with their allergens. And they expose the people to small quantities of their allergen over time, building up the amount.
Tolerance and immunity.
And that builds up immunoglobulins G, IgG. So if you have the IgGs, they will just latch onto the allergen before the immune system can even recognize it. And people who have peanut allergies, and it's been shown not too long ago, peanut allergies can be deadly, and can be deadly within minutes, can cause the bronchial tubes to close.
And it's your body.
It's a mistake, the body just overreacting to something that isn't going to cause it harm otherwise. So and now a doctor needs to work on this, and they start out using very small quantities of the proteins from peanuts, and every day expose the patient.
And they don't die.
And they don't die. They build it up, and they can get them to a level where they can tolerate peanuts.
Without passing out every time someone even breathes peanut butter breath on them.
So there's avoidance to allergens, which would be moving somewhere where you don't have your allergens. That's not always feasible.
I don't have a very thick coat. I'd rather stay in the home area, yeah.
There are the antihistamines, which are good in the moment.
But if you're a pilot or a truck driver, not a good idea.
Right. Then you have the mononucleases, and you need to be on those, of course, under doctor's supervision over time. Like you need to be on.
Is that the one where I made the completely wrong connection?
It prevents the cells from releasing the histamine in the first place.
I was just thinking about control and release.
And then there's the technique of the doctors training the immune systems to just deal with their allergen.
Training, so like what I do every Tuesday.
Exactly.
Cha!
So you think you'll be able to deal with these flowers now?
I'm good.
Fantastic.
Scientific Station. Dot.